right now for all the wrong reasons. Mike Tomlin shed some light on the drama surrounding Antonio Brown, saying he told Brown to go home and rest his leg on Friday, but added that Antonio didn't communicate with the team after that, leading up to him being deactivated for Sunday's game. Tomlin went further on the situation yesterday. Take a listen.
Obviously, we take his lack of communication, his lack of presence, particularly on Saturday prior to the game, to be something that's very significant and will be handled appropriately so. I'm not going to speculate on trades and things of that nature. We haven't formally received a request in that regard. So I'm not going to speculate. I'm not going to speculate in terms of where the discipline might go and things of that nature. Just know that it's going to be addressed, and it will be addressed and needs to be addressed for obvious reasons. And when we're talking about our darkest hour, okay, we're talking about playing to win a game and needing other dominoes to fall for us to be in the tournament, and the guy not communicating, that is a real element of discussion.
Does it reach a point where it becomes more problematic than it's useful?
Certainly.
All right, Fox NFL analyst Greg Jennings joining us this morning. When you look at this situation, how do you think it will play out between Antonio and the Steelers?
I don't know how it turns out. I don't think any of us can say how it turns. Well, we can say how it turns out, but we have to see it play out. But how it should turn out, he has to go. Simply put, he has to go. When I'll start with even listening to Mike Tomlin in that press conference. What was Antonio Brown doing? Was he respectfully just listening, or was he trying to one-up him and mock him and make him almost look like, look, I don't want to hear that. I'm not listening to you. He's already shown a disrespect towards not only the organization and his teammates, but to Mike Tomlin. I don't even respect you right now. Whatever you have to say, I'm not even listening. And neither should anyone else who's following me on Instagram or Twitter or all these social platforms. Mm-hmm. No, listen to me. Don't even listen to Mike Tomlin. I got this under control. That is a slap in the face where you just don't come back from that. Antonio Brown is who he is right now. And as much production that he has produced for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Ben Roethlisberger in that offense, we all know what it looks like and what it's been. It's been great. But is it worth the culture? Is it worth what we're trying to do? Is it worth the wins that we lack because of this? Because of this. Like, I don't care how productive you are. If your goal isn't in alignment with mine, we can't win. The reason why the New England Patriots win is because they lay all differences aside when they get on that football field. Once they're in that uniform and that helmet is put on, everything that we disagree on is out the window right now. Mm-hmm.
And if you do happen to continue to disagree, you're out the window.
Yes,
right?
Exactly. And what Mike Tomlin said at the end of that, when the reporter asked him at some point, does this outweigh the production? Mm-hmm. Does it become too much with all the antics and whatever? And his answer is certainly. I hope he sticks to that certainly. Yes. And it's not just Mike Tomlin that has to do that. That's the Rooneys that have to make that decision. But you can't allow Antonio Brown to come back with this attitude because it's not going to change. I don't care how many times you sit down with Ben, Tomlin, bring us all in a room. Let's have a come to Jesus moment, as everybody wants to allude to. He is who he is. It's not changing.
I'm a firm believer. In order for your team to enjoy success, your best players need to be the hardest workers and the best leaders.
True.
And the two best players for the Pittsburgh Steelers are their worst leaders. Ben Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown. That's it. You see, the thing is that when he went Facebook Live and Mike Tomlin is laying out what they're going to do for the upcoming week and get ready for, this joker is in the background. So at that moment, this is not about you, team. This is about Facebook and my followers and them getting an insight. Bro, that's sacred.
And remember, he caught Tomlin live taking a shot at the Patriots. Those A's, right? You know,
get a head start.
They got a head start. and it went out live to everybody.
Live.
Wow.
And he didn't care because it's never been about the team. It's always been. When I speak to college guys and I speak to NFL guys that's just getting into the league, the one thing I tell them, I says, I want you to be selfish. I want you to win the Heisman. I want you to be all-pro. I want you to try to make the Pro Bowl and win MVP. But those goals can never supersede that of the team. Because if the team goal is first, I know you will work extremely hard to accomplish what you need to. And if you accomplish those goals, we're going to meet those team goals. Antonio team is Team Antonio. Antonio care about one thing, his numbers. Antonio will tell you he just wants to win. He does want to win. But I need 12 catches for $150 and 2 touchdowns in that win. Because if I get 6 for 50 on a touchdown, that ain't good enough. Because I saw Juju get 10 for 105 on a touchdown. I can't have that. They got to move on. Because right now, Skip, production intolerance. You're going to tolerate this because his production level is high. It was the same thing with T.O., Skip. And I love T.O. His production was high. He was getting 1,500 yards receiving. He was getting 13, 14 touchdowns. But the moment that production slips, he gone. But what he's doing is that he's poisoning the locker room because you got young receivers. Juju's only in his second year. James Washington's in his first year. Eli Rogers is young. That's the defining voice in their meeting room. That's who they're looking at. They're like, well, hold on. This dude bucking, and he got $72 million. So what's to stop me from bucking? Juju putting up numbers. Juju said, how long? I beat Antonio. I had more yards, more catches than Antonio. He acted like this, he ain't got paid. What's to stop me from acting like that and getting paid? I'm producing.
Because they keep looking at the head coach. How's he going to react to this?
Yeah!
He doesn't react. He doesn't react. He doesn't react. He goes unpunished, unpunished, unpunished until now.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You can't have, it's like, Skip, you and I both a dog lover. In that when you get a puppy, you try to set the groundwork and the parameters of how it's going to act. You don't let it go in the house.
No.
You can't get a puppy and let it go in the house till he's 5 years old, and then all of a sudden say, you know what, I want you to go outside. He looking at you like, what? I've been going in the house for 5 years. No, I think I'll stay right here. You've been letting Antonio Brown do this. So you know what you do? You pass that problem on to somebody else. Hey, y'all take it. Because I don't want to deal with it anymore because it's preventing us from reaching our ultimate. This is why the Pittsburgh Steelers are at home, Skip. They're too talented. There's no reason. You're 4th in offense, you're 8th in defense, and you're out of the playoffs? Because of this. Because of Antonio Brown. Because of Ben. Because of what Mike Tomlin and the Steelers organization has accepted.
Yes.
So this story is wearing me out. It's tiring me out because this man across from me said from day one, do not pay him. Bad idea.
Let him go.
Right?
Yep.
I echoed your sentiments. I said, do not pay him. I said, do not pay Odell Beckham Jr. or you will regret it. And the Giants, I believe, are already regretting it. They're both more trouble than they're worth because, as you continue to point out, they play, you know this position very well. You know it pretty well. It's a dependent position. You can do only so much because you don't get to dribble the ball up the floor and decide whether to shoot it or not. You have to wait until it gets thrown to you. And if the other team says, Greg Jennings cannot have the ball today, it's going to be hard to get Greg the ball today, right? That will benefit everybody else, but it doesn't benefit Greg Jennings.
Right.
So obviously, Antonio Brown has become way more trouble than he is worth. And all of his social media following does not contribute on Sunday. It doesn't help you win football games. In fact, it's really destructive to your trying to win a football game because you won championships on 2 different teams that were pretty united as far as I knew, right?
Absolutely.
And you won on a team. It started to fracture later, but that year, I think you were pretty together, right?
Of course.
You have to be. No one's ever won those Cowboy teams in the early 90s, off the field, they were, my last book was titled Hell Bent. They were hell bent off the field. Trust me, in the locker room, when it was time to work, time to practice, they were like this, man. They loved each other. They fought for each other, and they were super talented, and they performed up to that level. Well, this team is super talented, and it's consistently not performed up to the level when it's time. Again, these were indictment games. What they did to New England at Pittsburgh, they showed you, oh, you can do that, really? Oh, you're really good. They showed you at New Orleans. They can hang right in there, and they had a chance to win at New Orleans.
Right.
and they missed the playoffs. Why did they miss the playoffs? Well, it all starts. They all get blamed, but to your point, they're all finger pointers.
Oh, it's Le'Veon. The Le'Veon distraction was hanging over our head.
Okay, so you have to cut bait and cut your losses. And again, we were ahead of this, so we're not being 20/20 hypocrites or 20/20 hindsight.
No.
We're saying we said this from the start. We told you so, but now you've made your bed and you have to get out of your bed because it's not going to work next year. You have to give him away, and you're going to have to give him away.
Oh, yeah, you're not going to get
because
value.
the money is so high that somebody's going to have to take on, and the baggage is so much that trust me, you can try to auction him off, and you might get you might get a third rounder.
Second, third. But let me ask you a question. If that second or third round pick going to give you the production, no matter what the position is that you get with that second or third round pick, is it going to give you the production of Antonio Brown? But Skip, here's the thing. Maybe I could see, you know what, if I'd won me 2 or 3 championships, but let me ask you this, Skip. Do you think Golden State would put up Draymond's antics if they hadn't won 3 championships?
Not a chance. Not a chance.
All the kicking and the technical fouls? Just like Detroit put up with Rodman antics.
They did.
They're winning championship. But the moment they stop with...
Hey, trust me, the Bulls put up with Rodman. They did.
And when Jordan left, they said, man, we ain't going to be able to control this guy.
Nope.
You got to go.
Got to go.
And this is with Antonio. Hold on. You mean to tell me I'm paying you $16, $17 million a year to miss the playoffs? Well, I can get me somebody and not pay them that much and miss the playoffs. I miss the playoffs with you. I can miss the playoffs without you. This makes no sense to me because Antonio Brown is dug in on who he wants to be and how he wants to play. And that's not going to change.
Yeah. And to Greg's point, and I mentioned this earlier in the show, at the flashpoint moment yesterday when he had a chance to show a little contrition, a little penitence, just a little bit of let's live and let live, you know, like a little bit, he's mocking the head coach during his live news conference on TV.
And then boy, I don't know if he posted on Twitter or Facebook talking about his free will.
Yes.
Dumb. Free will? Dude, they paying you $18 million, $16, $17 million a year. And you don't show up to work.
That quote sounded like a Drew Rosenhaus special to me. For me, and you touched on this, Skip, when you really, you know this, Shannon, when you really have a respect and a relationship outside of just the game with your teammates, with your coworkers, you will go above and beyond. It doesn't matter to you who shines because if you do well, if you look good, I look good. Sure. If you draw attention, that means I have more opportunity. If I draw attention, that means you have more opportunity. But because this team doesn't have the camaraderie off the field, they're not as tight-knit. Winning is not the supreme goal when it comes to the Pittsburgh Steelers. They talk about it, but they're not about it. Why do I say that? Because they want their own numbers.
I need my numbers.
Look at their offensive line calling out Le'Veon Bell. It's really us. What do you mean?
Where you ever heard offensive line say that?
Who does that?
Never.
You can't win when you're divided.
Every line never said anything.
No.
If the dude got 18,000, not one to A, they raised their hand last and said, hey, that was me. Nate New said, no, that was me. Skip said, no, that was me. Big Easy said, no, I got that, cuz. Eric Dickerson lying. And you got lying talking about that's us.
The list goes on. And can you imagine Tomlin getting off that podium and going, how did that go? And then someone has to tell him what AB was doing. I mean, just that relationship, I don't see it move forward. I mean, there's really no way back from that. All right, Greg, good to have you on that topic. Are the Lakers in big trouble without LeBron?
Now we get to the guts of the story.
We'll discuss with Chris Broussard.